This season, it all starts with a bombshell that leaves jaws on the floor. One couple is already teetering on the edge before the plane even lands. He thought he knew her, but the moment the door closes, the lies start spilling out, and suddenly every little secret feels like a landmine waiting to explode. She smiles, but her eyes are hiding something, and he can feel it. Tension is almost physical. Who is really telling the truth here? And who is keeping things buried just long enough to make it hurt even more? Meanwhile, another couple is in full drama mode. Social media whispers, friends dropping hints, even family members showing up uninvited, all stacking pressure on a relationship that barely survived a few weeks of long distance. She says one thing, but he saw something entirely different. He's suspicious, pacing, replaying messages in his head, trying to figure out what she isn't telling him. Every glance, every casual comment feels loaded. There's history, and history has teeth. Secrets from months ago are suddenly front and center, and the air is electric with tension. Even outside the fights, small moments crack open massive questions. The way he handles stress, the way she laughs too quickly, the things they avoid saying in front of the camera, it all adds up. Viewers can't help but wonder, is this a genuine misunderstanding, or is one of them actively hiding something? And if it's the latter, how long before it erupts into chaos? Cultural differences, the expectations of family honor, the clash between American directness and overseas subtlety, all create a perfect storm. Every interaction is a test, and the stakes have never felt higher. By the halfway point of this opening episode, trust is already fraying. A casual lie about a day's schedule spirals into a confrontation that nobody saw coming. Voices rise, accusations fly, and suddenly it's clear that someone is holding back a truth that could change everything. And just when you think things might settle, she drops a comment that stops him cold, leaving him staring at her, bewildered, hurt, and more suspicious than ever. One question lingers in the room. Can they survive this without shattering completely? And just when you think the worst is behind them, a new revelation hits that makes everything you just saw feel like a calm before the storm. As the cameras roll, the walls between truth and lies start to crumble. One partner stumbles across a message, a photo, something that doesn't quite fit the story they've been told. First, they question themselves. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe they're overthinking. But then patterns emerge, little inconsistencies stacking up like a house of cards. The more they notice, the harder it is to ignore, and suddenly every casual comment, every unexplained absence starts to feel like proof of something bigger. Cross town, another couple is facing a different kind of storm. It isn't just about potential cheating, it's about the small, almost invisible things that betray hidden intentions. A sudden change in tone, a shift in body language, moments of hesitation that speak louder than words ever could. One person confesses to working on themselves, but the other can't help thinking, what exactly does that mean? Are these excuses, or is this the calm before an even bigger confrontation? The uncertainty alone is exhausting, and the audience can feel it, leaning in, wondering what will break first, the trust, the patience, or the relationship itself. Then comes the evidence no one can ignore. Screenshots, social media interactions, a casual slip that finally cracks open months of hidden behavior. Reactions are immediate, raw, and impossible to fake. The accused flips between denial and defensiveness, but the accusing partner is already bracing for impact, heart racing, mind replaying every moment of doubt. In these moments, viewers are reminded that secrecy isn't just about what's hidden. It's about the anxiety and fear it spreads, the way it forces people to second-guess every memory, every gesture. Just when it seems like one secret has been revealed, another emerges, doubling the stakes and twisting the tension even tighter. Who is lying? Who is hiding something deeper than what's on the surface? And how much longer can the relationship survive under this pressure? By the end of this act, the accusations have escalated into heated confrontations. Words are sharper, eyes are harder, and even casual glances carry suspicion. The emotional toll is heavy. Every partner is questioning the other's loyalty and intentions, and the audience is left hanging, wondering how much truth is still buried and when the next revelation will explode everything into chaos. Tension that simmered in Act 2 finally boils over. Arguments erupt with the force of long-suppressed frustration, sharp words flying faster than anyone can catch. One partner lashes out over a small comment, but it's clear this fight is years in the making. Jealousy claws at the edges, fueled by suspicion, social media breadcrumbs, and unexplained absences. The room feels smaller with every accusation, every slammed door, every tense pause. Financial control becomes a battlefield. One person questions every purchase, every decision, every plan. Money, it seems, isn't just numbers, it's power, trust, and security all wrapped together. Accusations of selfishness collide with defensiveness and insecurity. Each partner tries to assert themselves while keeping the cracks in the relationship from spreading too far, but the pressure is relentless. Even casual comments about independence or responsibility are weaponized. Public moments turn humiliating quickly. Family members appear unannounced, neighbors witness arguments, and online fans weigh in with their opinions. Private becomes public in seconds, and every slip fuels more suspicion. Every glare or whispered aside is loaded, every hesitation questioned. Even small interactions that once seemed harmless now carry a weight that can topple a relationship in minutes. And yet, amidst the chaos, there are moments of introspection. One partner sits alone, staring at their reflection, questioning their choices, wondering how they ended up here. They replay arguments, dissect their own reactions, and try to separate perception from reality. The emotional stakes are huge because it's not just about the fight, it's about self-doubt, fear, and the terrifying possibility that the person you trusted most is a stranger hiding in plain sight. Just when you think a breakthrough might be possible, a sudden disappearance or shocking revelation sends the entire dynamic spiraling. Who will respond? Who will break first? And what lines have already been crossed that can never be undone? By the end of this act, viewers are left holding their breath. The arguments have escalated beyond reason, the trust is fraying, and every attempt at calm is overshadowed by unresolved tension. Relationships are balancing on a knife's edge, and the question looms: can anyone survive this storm without losing everything they thought they knew? After the chaos of arguments and accusations, a quieter, heavier tension takes over. One partner sits alone, scrolling through past messages, replaying moments that now feel loaded with hidden meaning. The emotional weight isn't just about what the other person did, it's about how each of them perceives themselves, their worth, and their ability to trust. In my opinion, this is where the show gets raw because these aren't just fights, they're mirrors reflecting insecurities most people hide. Cultural pressures make every choice feel like a test. Expectations from family, traditions, and social norms collide with personal desires and modern ideals. What seems like stubbornness or jealousy on screen often stems from fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of being left behind. One partner wonders if their voice even matters, if their emotions are being dismissed, or if they're constantly being measured against someone else's expectations. Meanwhile, the other struggles with vulnerability, unsure how to show care without appearing weak or control without appearing domineering. Tension between expressing love and self-protecting is a recurring, heartbreaking cycle. Regret starts to creep in. Did I overreact? Could I have said things differently? Was I too trusting? These questions haunt them, showing the human side behind the drama. They aren't villains or heroes, they're people trying to navigate relationships under extreme scrutiny, both from cameras and themselves. It's fascinating how the psychology of mistrust can twist a single event into a cascade of emotional turmoil. Every glance, every hesitation is amplified, every past mistake replayed with sharper clarity. Even as they reflect, external conflicts continue to push at the edges. A casual text or a vague explanation reignites suspicion, but internally, each partner begins to see the cracks in themselves too. They start recognizing patterns, ways they've contributed to the chaos, ways they've avoided tough conversations, ways they've built walls to protect fragile hearts. And then, just when it feels like they're trapped in a loop of doubt, a subtle revelation shifts everything. One partner admits something small but meaningful, a truth they had hidden not out of malice but fear. Suddenly, the lens changes, and the audience sees a side of the relationship no one expected, a glimmer that perhaps understanding and empathy could still save them. By the end of this act, the emotional stakes are deeper than ever. The fights and suspicions aren't the full story. The inner battles, the self-reflection, and the cultural pressures make every interaction far more complex than it appears. Just when it seemed the couples had hit a plateau, a new betrayal lands like a thunderbolt. One partner discovers evidence that contradicts everything they thought they knew. A deleted message, an unexplained meeting, a casual lie that suddenly looks like a pattern. Shock ripples through the room. Sudden, hearts race. Trust that barely held together starts splintering. Every small smile, every innocent gesture from before now feels suspect. The emotional stakes spike instantly. Anger mixes with disbelief, and humiliation spreads in subtle ways. Friends and family get involved, texting opinions, dropping hints, sharing screenshots. Social embarrassment hits hard because now it's not just private, it's public, witnessed, and whispered about by everyone. One partner feels cornered. Every denial sounds hollow. Every attempt at explanation only digs the hole deeper. Financial tension creeps in too. One partner questions spending, control, and priorities. Money becomes proof of commitment or evidence of selfishness. Even a simple purchase becomes a symbol of betrayal, a reminder that the relationship is under siege from every direction. Each confrontation is rapid-fire, punchy, and relentless. Short sentences hit hard. There's no time to process before the next shock arrives. Meanwhile, internal conflict intensifies. The betrayed partner battles humiliation, sadness, and fear of repeating past mistakes. The betrayer wrestles with guilt, defensiveness, and the urge to justify actions. It's fascinating to see how quickly people oscillate between rage and regret, suspicion, and empathy. The psychological tension is gripping because it's real, human, and painfully relatable. Just when you think one betrayal is enough, another secret surfaces, twisting the emotional knife and making every previous confrontation feel tame. Who will break first? Who will hold their ground? And how many cracks in trust can a relationship survive before it collapses entirely? The shock isn't limited to evidence. Words are sharper, accusations more precise, and each partner tests boundaries they once respected. Short confrontations erupt into heated monologues, leaving viewers holding their breath. Everyone in the room is questioning what's real, what's performative, and what will ultimately be the final straw. By the end of this act, the couples are reeling. Hearts are heavy, voices are raw, and the audience is left wondering, can trust ever be rebuilt? Or has this season already crossed a line that can never be undone? The emotional cliffhanger is brutal, leaving every viewer desperate to know what comes next. After the storm of betrayals, the couples try to find calm. Apologies are offered, sometimes heartfelt, sometimes carefully worded to soothe rather than admit fault. One partner leans in, soft eyes, gentle voice, trying to charm their way back into trust. Another uses humor, deflection, or excuses, hoping the tension will fade on its own. Every gesture is scrutinized, every word weighed, and the room is heavy with unspoken questions. Can apologies truly erase weeks of lies? Or are these just temporary band-aids on a fracture that keeps widening? They sit down, conversations slow, tentative. One admits a small misstep, another reveals a partial truth, and for a moment it feels like a breakthrough. But mistrust lurks in the shadows. Each partner watches for signs of insincerity, listening not just to words but tone, pauses, and gestures. Old insecurities bubble up. Am I being naive? Will this happen again? The audience feels the tension tightening because reconciliation is never simple here. It's a tightrope walk over months of suspicion and emotional baggage. Contrast between behaviors is striking. Charm and manipulation sit side by side, sometimes indistinguishable. One partner smiles, reaching for understanding, while inside they calculate, rationalize, or spin their actions. The other nods, softening, yet the mind races, replaying moments of doubt, piecing together fragments that don't quite fit. Every small concession is a test, every gesture a probe into the other's honesty. Even during quiet moments, tension simmers. A lingering glance, a hesitation before answering, a defensive posture, they all plant seeds of doubt. The reconciliations feel fragile, and the audience can sense it. Question hangs. Is this a genuine attempt to rebuild or a brief pause before the next emotional explosion? And just when it feels like progress is possible, a casual comment, a hidden reaction, or a sudden reminder of past betrayals reignites suspicion. Can these couples really reconcile, or is this calm only temporary, hiding the storm that's still gathering strength behind closed doors? By the end of this act, there's a sense of uneasy relief. Words have been exchanged, apologies made, but every smile is tinged with caution. Couples are not out of the woods, and viewers are left wondering whether the fragile peace will hold, or if the next revelation will shatter it completely. Just when it seems the couples might catch a break, cultural differences start stirring the pot. One partner interprets honesty as bluntness, while the other sees silence as secrecy. A joke that's meant to be playful lands like an insult. A small comment about family responsibilities spirals into a debate over loyalty, respect, and expectations that feel impossible to meet. Every interaction becomes a minefield, and misunderstandings multiply faster than apologies can keep up. Family involvement adds another layer. Parents, siblings, or extended relatives weigh in, often unintentionally fanning the flames. Messages meant to be helpful are read as interference. Visits intended to support the relationship create pressure that feels overwhelming. One partner feels cornered, trying to balance their own instincts with the expectations of someone halfway across the world. Meanwhile, the other wonders if loyalty to family is stronger than loyalty to love. The tension is palpable, and viewers can feel it in every glance and sigh. Language barriers intensify the drama. Words are misheard, idioms misinterpreted, and intentions twisted. Simple conversations turn into elaborate decoding exercises. Frustration builds. One partner struggles to express themselves clearly, while the other fills in the blanks with suspicion. Miscommunications pile up, creating arguments that feel bigger than the initial issue. The room fills with misunderstanding, and trust strains under the weight of misread signals. And yet, amid the chaos, there's a strange beauty in the human effort to connect. Viewers see moments of patience, attempts at humor, and glimmers of compromise. But these are fleeting. A casual remark about past behavior or a cultural expectation sparks renewed tension. Emotional stakes rise as partners wrestle with the question: is this relationship built to survive, or are the walls closing in too fast? And just when it seems they might find common ground, one partner pauses, staring into the distance, considering a decision that could change everything. Will they stay and fight, or walk away from a connection that's already tested every limit? By the end of this act, the audience is left teetering on the edge. The drama is no longer just about secrets or lies. It's about identity, culture, and the impossible task of bridging worlds without breaking in the process. One moment of clarity or misstep could tip everything into chaos, leaving viewers desperate to see what happens next. The season hits its boiling point. Screaming matches erupt over words that were never meant to be said aloud. Accusations that have been simmering for weeks finally spill over, and every unresolved suspicion ignites in one explosive confrontation. One partner slams a door, another storms out of the room, and the camera captures every trembling hand, every clenched jaw, every glance loaded with hurt and disbelief. Ultimatums fly fast. Stay and prove your loyalty, or leave and face the consequences. One partner demands answers about every unexplained moment, every hidden message, every casual lie that has piled up like kindling. Another insists that love isn't about interrogation, that trust must be earned, yet the cracks are deep enough to make even small gestures feel like tests. Perspectives shift constantly. One moment, it feels like the betrayer is in control. The next, the betrayed dominates the narrative, turning the confrontation into a chess match of emotions. Financial disputes, jealousy, and past grudges collide with present tension. Words cut sharper than knives. Every statement is dissected, replayed in the mind of the other, and used as proof of intentions or betrayal. The stakes feel unbearable, and the audience can feel it too. The uncertainty, the fear, the question that hangs over every couple. Who will break first, and what will it cost? Psychologically, this is where human behavior shines through. Panic, shame, and rage mingle with regret and self-preservation. One partner tries to justify, rationalize, even charm their way out. The other vacillates between anger and despair, trying to hold on to what remains of trust. The emotional roller coaster is relentless. Just when it feels like someone might finally crack, a shocking twist blindsides both partners, a revelation that reframes everything and makes viewers question who has been honest all along. Who will stay? Who will walk away? And what consequences will ripple beyond the immediate chaos? By the end of this act, the relationships are hanging by threads. The fights have reached a fever pitch, emotions are raw, and no one is safe from heartbreak. Every viewer is left on edge, desperate to see whether love can survive this storm or if the damage is irreversible. The stage is set for the final resolutions, but the tension remains unbearable, the questions unanswered, and the stakes higher than ever. After the chaos of the explosive climax, the dust settles, but the emotional fallout lingers. One partner walks through the remnants of what feels like a battlefield, replaying arguments and betrayals in their mind. Heartbreak mixes with relief, confusion, and even a flicker of clarity. They begin to see patterns, small choices, repeated behaviors, and unspoken tensions that, in hindsight, made the collapse inevitable. Psychological insight shows us that humans often cling to relationships despite red flags because hope and attachment outweigh logic. Self-preservation struggles with desire, creating an internal tug-of-war that leaves viewers captivated. Another partner retreats inward, processing shame, guilt, and regret. They consider what they could have done differently, not in blame, but in trying to understand how their actions contributed to the tension. Empathy begins to emerge, not always for the other person, but for themselves. They recognize that love doesn't erase mistakes and that growth sometimes comes from facing uncomfortable truths. The audience witnesses the delicate balance between reflection and rumination, the difference between learning from a relationship and being trapped by its mistakes. Financial strain, jealousy, and cultural misunderstandings still hover. Couples aren't fully healed. A single message or lingering doubt can reignite old tensions. Even as some moments of connection appear, small gestures, apologies, attempts to rebuild, there's an unspoken question. Is this reconciliation genuine or just temporary relief? Tension keeps viewers invested because the story is far from over. Just as it seems a couple might find peace, a subtle reminder of past betrayals or a family intervention hints that the storm isn't fully over, leaving everyone on edge and wondering what comes next. Amid heartbreak and reflection, seeds of hope begin to sprout. Some partners see glimpses of trust slowly returning. Others realize that separation may be necessary for growth. The show doesn't give easy answers, which is why it resonates. Relationships are messy, human, and full of unexpected lessons. The emotional arc is complete, but the narrative tension leaves room for further drama, unanswered questions, and the promise of a new season. By the end of this act, viewers are left with a mix of relief, sadness, and anticipation. Lessons have been learned, but nothing is final. The aftermath is raw, authentic, and painfully relatable, setting the stage for the final payoffs and a cliffhanger that keeps audiences coming back. The final moments of the season hit hard. Some couples find clarity, finally seeing who they are and what they truly need. For a few, the emotional roller coaster ends with relief and cautious optimism. They've survived the betrayals, the misunderstandings, the cultural clashes, and the explosive confrontations. Trust feels fragile but real. Small gestures, a lingering touch, a sincere apology, or even shared laughter signal a willingness to rebuild. Viewers feel the weight of those moments because they're earned through weeks of tension, heartbreak, and reflection. Others aren't so lucky. Some walk away exhausted, drained, and heartbroken. The losses are raw because the love was real, but the patterns were too entrenched to overcome. Watching them leave, we see both regret and relief, a recognition that self-preservation sometimes means letting go. It's a hard lesson in human behavior. Attachment and hope can coexist with toxicity, and knowing when to step back is as important as knowing when to fight. Financial tensions, cultural expectations, and miscommunications leave lingering consequences for everyone. Relationships that survive this storm are changed, marked by scars that aren't visible but felt in every interaction. Those who part ways carry lessons about boundaries, honesty, and empathy. The psychology of survival in high-pressure relationships is on full display, reminding viewers that human behavior is complex, unpredictable, and deeply emotional. And yet, the season leaves room for suspense. One unresolved question lingers. Even for couples that seem to have found stability, how long before the next challenge arises? Subtle hints, lingering doubts, and unspoken tensions suggest the drama isn't over. The audience is left contemplating trust, forgiveness, and the choices people make under pressure. And just as the credits seem near, one partner drops a comment or takes an action that could ignite another storm, leaving viewers itching to see what happens next. By the end of this act, the narrative is both satisfying and tantalizingly unfinished. Some hearts are healed, some are broken, and all have grown in ways that are painfully real. The final beat leaves viewers reflecting on behavior, trust, and the messy emotional complexity of relationships, while also building irresistible curiosity for the next video or season of drama. Every resolution feels earned, every heartbreak is authentic, and every lingering question keeps the audience coming back for more.